When he put his lips upon my hips, I'd drop, stack, quiver amongst the whips and quips of our wild physicality. I'd rub his gorgeous stumpy legs and the torso I had come to worship, for he, you see, was the warship carrying my whoreship, in which I would ignore my sense of decency in favor of a 45-minute tryst, you see, for he taught me to take when I could get. His visits were purposed to rid himself of loneliness in a reckless burst of calm, and I was obedient to this whimsicality to the nth degree, and I'd crawl on all fours until he'd clean up the mess he made of me, but he'd take no responsibility because he never learned that loving is a verb, not an epiphany. It's also a bit of chemistry, but it all comes down to alchemy transforming history into evolution. But we be mutations on the genome of the love story. Because he only chose parts of me and would disappear quite frequently from my bed, but not my sheets, nor my nose, nor my skin, nor my head, I must have asked, not quite impartially, "May I hurt him now?" When he'd say we were just friends, the fractal of my reality would bend to whatever wavelength that would sustain my love for him. Consequently, I could recognize that any other woman had the capacity for beauty except for me. He knew me. How could he love me? But I loved him because I thought I knew him. And here's another catch-22. The closer we'd get, the further he'd push me away, even when he dug so deeply, so desperately, physically into me. Intimately, we'd share soft words and dreamscapes, but the moment we'd part, he'd drape that caution tape of boundary so gracefully, so indifferently all over me, and that loud shroud of black and yellow kept me wrapped up like a busy bee, suspended in a vacuum of fearing the day he'd release me, so I fidgeted nearly epileptically until I broke my own self free. And the moment I'd start to flutter away, his heart would mutter back my way, and damn it if I wanted to know. May I hurt him now? At times, I must admit, I made a mockery of his sexual fantasies, deferring his masculine deviancy to mere delinquency, because he outrightly refused to relish and delight in me in my attempt to help him see the man in he that he was blind to. Consequently, though, my view was skewed in that realm that is the deliberation and indulgence in the lewd and crude, yet to feel him warm and in the nude, silently I'd lay and brood like a beer that had been sourly brewed, because I knew he'd evaporate again quite soon, and with no shame, because he laid it out conveniently and in the plain that I was indeed separate from him. This I always knew, and was never quite dependent upon him, but he twisted me into some grotesque and simpering fallacy to the point I was constantly chasing the ghost that is he. And at the ironic manifestation of this pitiable prophecy. The angels, with their halos placed in golden rings burning brilliantly, they sing. Can you forget him now?